Hey everyone, welcome to Dit Dot. My name is Amanda. Tonight we're diving right into a homemade pie crust. We are going to make quiche for dinner. I absolutely love quiche. I'll eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's perfect for brunch. Oh, hold on a second. My toaster oven's talking to me. So over in my toaster oven, I have a poblano pepper roasting. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then behind me, I have some onions, asparagus, and broccoli sauteing in a skillet. Okay, so I just put in 1 cup of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. And then we're gonna add 1/3 cup of butter. You can also use lard. I prefer to use butter unless I can find lard that has not been totally blanking out. Homogenized? No, that's not the right word. It's what they do to make it shelf stable. But if I can buy it straight from a farmer, then I'm all for it. Okay, so 1/3 cup of butter that I'm going to cut up into small cubes. Now this butter, it's very important that it came straight from your refrigerator. Sometimes I'll even throw it into the freezer for like 10 minutes while I'm gathering up the ingredients. The colder your butter, the better your pie dough. So I just cubed it up with my butter knife. If you go over on the butter, I won't tell anybody. And then about a teaspoon or so of salt. We're going to pulse this a little bit. And we want our flour to kind of look like rough sand. So I always tap the top of my lid to kind of get some of that loose flour off. And as you can see, it's got some chunks of butter, but now been processed into the flour. I've got a bowl of ice water, and I'm not using the ice cubes, but I just want super cold water. And I'm gonna start with 3 tablespoons. You want to be able to put the least amount of water to your flour to have your dough come together into a ball. So we might add a little bit more, but we want to start off low. So again, I'm just going to keep pulsing it. I'm going to go ahead and add another tablespoon of water. I'm going to use the drip sprout this time.
I'm going to keep this at real time because it's important to see how long you need to process. It ended up being just under a minute at 50 seconds is how long I processed this flour. That will change depending on how much water you add and the humidity of the day, but you don't want to over process, but you don't want to under process either. This is the only tricky part of pie dough.
Once you see it to start to ball up like this, then you stop processing. Okay, so now I have a piece of plastic wrap right here. You'll see it kind of has bumpy texture. So we're just gonna knead it just a couple of times to help kind of bring that together. You don't wanna overwork your dough though. So I just kneaded it like 3 times. I'm gonna put it in a ball, and then I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to set it in my refrigerator for just a few minutes while we finish up the insides of our quiche. Okay, so I just had these vegetables sauteing on low while I was making the dough back there. And I'm going to add some ham really quick. This is just pre-cubed ham. I was going to put mushrooms, but my mushrooms went bad. Very disappointed. So that leads me to explain though, there are some like traditional quiche type recipes that pair, but honestly you can go wild. There's just whatever vegetables that, well, okay, maybe not anything, but you can get pretty crazy. I have some asparagus left over from the gnocchi recipe that I did in my last video, so I put some asparagus and broccoli and the onions. If you wanted to put leeks instead of onions, mushrooms, whatever you want for the inside of your quiche. Okay, so I call this my quiche making measuring cup because when I fill this thing up, it fits into my pie my pie plate perfectly. This is a 4-cup measuring cup. I'm going to start with the meat and veggies. Actually, I think I made more than I need, so I want to have room for, you know, the important ingredient called eggs, so I'm not going to use all of those. Those will get used up in a different dish. So the way that I build my quiche, because I don't use a recipe, is I start with these, like I said, the meat, and then I'm going to put in anywhere from 6 to 8 eggs. Kind of depends on how big my eggs are, how many vegetables I cooked, all of that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm gonna start with 6. We'll add some pepper and salt, and those will be the only seasonings I use. Okay, not traditional, I don't usually do this, but I bought some cottage cheese for some previous dish that I don't even remember, and I want to use it up, so in it goes. So you know how like a lot of times you'll be following a recipe and it'll tell you that you need like a half a cup of some ingredient, and you're like, well, what else am I going to use that for? If it's not something that you cook with often, that's when you can get creative, and when you're cooking other dishes, you can go, that'll work. So while I normally wouldn't put cottage cheese in my quiches, it's just going to add a creamy layer, so why not? It'll work. Now I'm going to add some milk. Now I'm using whole milk. Normally, if I was making this for brunch or fancier occasion, I would use heavy cream, but this is a weeknight dinner and I don't want it to be that heavy, so I'm just using whole milk. At the beginning of the video, I told you I was roasting a poblano pepper. If you like spicy foods, put it in with your other vegetables. My family does not like spicy vegetables or spicy foods, so I'm the only one who likes it spicy. So I'm actually going to keep that out on the side and just kind of top my quiche with the roasted pepper. Okay, so now we've got this, and then I've got some more cheese that we're going to top our quiche with. So let's go ahead and roll out our dough. Just set this aside. Okay, so I've got some olive oil spray, but whatever spray you have, or if you just want to line it with butter, just kind of generously grease up your pie plate. Of course, I've got a cobalt blue one. The thing about this dish is I like to do a lot of times fast dinners to get dinner on the table super fast for busy moms. But this one doesn't take very long to make. Even by making homemade pie dough, it doesn't take long to make. It takes a long time to cook. You can't rush that process. It's going to take us like 45 minutes to cook the pie or the quiche in the oven. So I'm trying to get this in the oven so we can have dinner soon. Okay, so again, this had been rested in the, my words are not working today. This has been resting in the refrigerator. I haven't put down any flour. I probably should. Sometimes I can get away with not, but I think I put maybe a smidge more water in it than I should, so it's kind of, it's a little bit of a sticky dough. I'm gonna roll it and turn it. Roll it and turn it. And you want it to be bigger than your pie plate, so that way you can have it go over the edges a little bit. Now, one thing that I have no talent for or patience is for crimping my edges. I just not very good at that. All right, maybe that's something I need to explore one of these days. Okay, so you can put your pie plate in the middle. You can see that it goes all around the edge. And if your pie dough is really delicate, mine is not. I've got a really nice solid pie dough. You can roll it up like this to help transfer it. And then go here and roll it down. And then just kind of position it. And then this is my not fancy technique to get the edges down And like I said, I don't really take time to crimp my edges, but feel free if that is your artistic inclination. So now it's nice in there, and let's see if I was right. It's been a while since I've done this actually, but if memory serves me correct, this should fill up my pie plate pretty well. It's 4 cups. And this is not a deep dish pie. This is just a regular pie plate. If you have a deep dish pie plate, then you'll need to add more eggs and stuffing. Now I'm going to top very generously with cheese. So when I make quiche, I usually just raid my cheese drawer, and whatever cheese I have is what I use. If I've got Italian cheeses, we use Italian. Today I've got a Monterey Jack and a Cheddar Jack, so that's what I'm using. It's all about using up some of the things from earlier in the week, using up ingredients that you're like, what can I use this in? I've had such bad luck with the tops of my cheese bags lately. Okay, there we go. I used to be known at my twin mom club for my quiches. We would get together for these play dates. I had 2 moms that had, so I have twins, and then I had 2 moms that had twins, and 1 mom that had triplets. And we would get together for these crazy play dates. Can you imagine? 9 kids, 4 moms, and a lot of times we would bring brunch dishes because we were apparently super moms, and I would always bring the quiche. Okay, that looks gorgeous. We're gonna pop this into the oven that's been preheating to 375, and then I'll meet you back here in about 45 minutes. Hey, okay, so this quiche just came out of the oven about, 12 minutes ago. It came out, it was like all puffed up, it sunk down a little bit, but you wanna give it time to cool down before you cut into it, otherwise it just needs time for the eggs to set. So, it looks so good, it smells delicious. So let's give it a cut and see how it came out. So since I'm not eating this as a brunch, if I was eating it as a brunch, I would have like a little quiche and a little, this is like our main meal. So I'm going for a generous size portion here. Let's see, do I need to get a pie? Let me get a pie. Get out my pie spatula. Come out, look at that, gorgeous. Okay, oh yes. Like I said, I like to have some poblano on mine. Oh, I've got a cut on my finger, that hurts. So normally I would bake this into the quiche. Okay, let's give it a taste. So beautiful and soft and fluffy. My husband likes to put salsa on his. You can put avocado. That's good. It's really creamy. Let me show you my crust. I love my pie crust. It's just flaky and it's so delicious. I'm gonna enjoy this tonight. I gotta call the family down for dinner. But in the meantime, make sure that you watch my gnocchi video because that one was really fun to film. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.